So then how has the relationship changed after that point?
So he's still being the same, making me feel worthless. But he constantly is questioning my choices in terms of the food that I give my toddler, the first boy, and is constantly second guessing my parenting skills and the way that I am disciplining him, despite me getting professional help from people. And the way that, so because he was a troubled sleeper, I had to take him to sleep school like 3 times to get help and intervention. And, you know, so I'm there learning the skills, blah, blah, blah. He flits in after work, tells me I'm doing it wrong, is putting me down about it. I'm like, this is what I've learned. This is what they've suggested we try. Like, this is why we're here, so we can try different techniques and see what works with him.
Yeah.
Just him constantly just putting me down, saying, no, that's not going to work, and not listening to anything that I have to say. So that's how it was for a really long time. About everything, every choice that I was making for them. So
you weren't working in any capacity at all?
No.
Okay.
No, I was just full-time mum, which I wanted to be because I didn't get that with my parents. So
yeah.
But, you know, that constant second guessing, putting you down and the second guessing, I'm still already destroyed. Like, he's already destroyed me, but it's happening on a daily basis. And then the expectation of me to start working out at the gym arises again. And, you know, so then there's that pressure that I should be looking better again so he can find me sexually attractive enough to have sex with me again. It's just so fucked up. And I really didn't realise that this was happening to me until last year in April. And I had the epiphany in a supermarket on my birthday.
How did that happen?
We'd just gone, we had already moved interstate, and we'd been interstate for about 1 year and 3 months. And we'd just come down to Melbourne for a visit, and there was an incident where he felt the need to come in and control a situation where I was, you know, it's really stupid because it's about putting on shoes for my toddler. Like, he came in and wanted to control the situation, and it just exploded. I was going to take the kids for a walk, and my child wasn't complying, and I had to figure out a way to motivate him to put his shoes on. But then he came in and just completely undermined me, and then we had a massive argument in front of the kid because he came in, undermined me, and was trying to control something so benign, which I had almost managed had he just given me a bit more time to do that. But this is the thing, he needed to control every single thing. And I was like, I can't live like this. I am having like anxiety and panic attacks, and I'm not sleeping. And then I looked it up. I actually went to a website and looked up what is the definition of domestic violence, because I thought maybe this is what it is. I mean, he's never hit me, but there's been marital rape, and there's been him forcing me to have a baby, and there's been so much control. So then when I looked at that before I went to the supermarket, great, isn't that? That I'm looking shit up before I go to the supermarket. Then I was like having that panic attack in the supermarket and bawling my eyes out going, oh my God, this is it. This is what's happening to me.
No one had ever suggested it to you? I know you said that people just kept their mouths shut, but like by that point, it hadn't occurred to you.
No.
Okay.
I know.
It's just, like I said, we're not living in the 60s or 50s, but it feels like you were.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just shocking that no one had actually said anything.
Yeah.
You know?
Because they're all in their own little DV worlds. Like all the older people are in their DV world with their partner.
Do you know what really triggers me? When people say things like, oh, things were better in the old days, like la la la, you know, marriages lasted and all this shit. I'm like, okay, how about you get married in the 50s, have no choice or say over what you do, where you go, what you say, get punched in the mouth, not have a choice to do anything about it, and the threat of leaving, if you get out alive, you literally have no money, no support.
Yeah.
Okay, people, how many like old farts do I know that are in their 80s and they still brawl like every day and have been miserable for like 30 years, but they stood together because of family? Like, fuck off. Who wants to live like that?
Yeah.
That's why things lasted that long. And if you think it was better in the 50s, fuck me, man.
Yeah.
It triggers me like you have no idea.
Yeah.
Like, you have no idea. Like,
I understand now because I am seeing it with the extended family, like from a different perspective. And I'm like, they should not be together. Those people should not be together. Those people should not be together.
When people say that marriage, like now, you know, 50% ends in divorce, I go, yeah, it's because of Tinder or it's because of social media. No, it's because people have choices.
Yeah.
You know, marriage historically quickly became about control.
Yeah.
It became about control. Every culture across the world, right? Every fucking culture across the world became about control because you were purchasing a woman and securing a dowry. You were securing land titles.
And heirs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And exactly. You know, and it was always a bargaining tool for whatever reason.
Yeah.
That's historically speaking across the world. Anytime it hasn't been about control, it's been ironically when the same-sex act was pushed through, because now you don't have that narrative, like at all.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's two isolated individuals making a decision purely based on union. Like, that's ironically speaking, but it just shits me when people try to bring that shit up. I'm like, man, you have no idea.
Yeah.
But, you know, because I'm unmarried and don't have kids, I don't have any idea. You know what I mean? It shits me, like, hearing this shit.
Yeah.
Like, you were just talking about undermining, right?
Yeah.
I've said this to, like, people I know that have got kids, and I've watched them have meltdowns in front of their kids, you know, over a disciplinary sort of thing or whatever. And I'm like, rule number one is be on the same page, at least in front of the child, so the child doesn't have this, dad's good but mum's shit, or, you know, mum's good and dad's shit. Be on the same page. Then after he's gone to bed, have the chat and figure it out. Like, it just shits me. Anyway.
I completely 100% agree with you there. You've got to be a united front. You've got to be a team in front of the kids. So they don't work out what angle to play you on as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Okay.
Yeah. So I've got the epiphany.
Yeah.
And then I reach out to organisations. Yeah. I go to the GP. I get a mental health care plan. I start seeing a psychologist to start processing the trauma and what has happened to me.
How much of this did you know?
Him?
Yeah.
Completely nothing.
Nothing.
This lovely psychologist was bulk billing everything for me because he used to go through the bank accounts and ask me and, you know, what was this? What did you spend why did you spend $50 at Kmart? What did you buy? You know, like questioning me all the time. Is this transaction legitimate? Did you spend this? Where was this at? You know, just I had to answer.
Did you guys have money?
Like a lot?
No.
What do you say?
When I say money, all right, I don't mean were you bawling at the Crown Plaza every weekend? I mean we all make ends meet, right? That's the benchmark. Yeah. Were you making ends meet?
Yeah.
Were you able to save?
Yeah.
If you had to?
Yeah.
Okay. See, when people say to me that, like, you know, because I always complain about money, that I'm always broke, right?
Yeah.
I'm always broke. That's because everything I have is invested immediately, and because I live alone. And there are things in my life that I don't take anything for granted. Yeah? Like, I don't. I can tell you exactly where my money went. Everything that I've ever made, I can tell you exactly where it went. Because I learned how to think on my feet, because I grew up in an environment where money always seemed like there was not enough of it. So I never wanted to be in that situation. So I want to learn, not necessarily to always be able to make money, but to be able to manage what I have. Do you know what I mean?
I understand. I completely understand.
I could tell you right now, like when my paycheck comes in or when money comes in, I can tell you exactly where it goes. And you might say something's frivolous. You know, like I don't need my motorbike, but I've always wanted one.
Yeah.
And
it gives you joy.
What's the expense? Like
Yeah.
$50 a month for insurance, $500, $800 a year for rego. Big shit. I don't have a child, so I have a motorbike.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
It gives you joy. It's what makes you happy.
So what I'm asking is, in your house, like for him to be micromanaging every transaction, was it because he was extremely frugal, or was it just the point of control, or was it his fears of like, was it not enough money to go around, or just seemed like just not like another element of control?
It was he was incredibly stingy, and it was an element of control.
Okay.
But he also has anxiety about not having enough money. It's essentially all three. Yeah. Even
Perfect.
though we were fine, like we were fine, he didn't need to be like that. He's just like so worried, you know? Like he pulls his hair out.
Yeah. Literally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like literally. He's so stressed, he pulls his hair out. And he's so stressed that he gorges and he forces himself to vomit at nighttime.
Question. All of this,
Yeah.
has he ever sought help for himself?
Only after I left.
No. I'm talking in the lead up.
Nah.
Did you ever suggest that he should see anyone?
Yeah.
What was the answer? What was the response?
He's incredibly stressful and he will figure out how to manage it. And that's how he manages it. And I'm like, but those aren't healthy ways for you to manage it.
It's not normal.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did he, and by this point, you were numb to everything.
I was in survival mode.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally
But
numb.
were you aware that he had actual issues, or were you just numb to it as if this is normal?
No, I started thinking that there's got to be issues there for him to do that.
And we're talking like 8 years in, right?
Yeah. No, 12 years.
Oh, so you actually went the whole stint before the epiphany.
Yeah.
It wasn't like it was an epiphany and then it was a slow sort of plan out.
It was, so the epiphany was last year in my 12th year with him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm dumb shit.
Yeah.
So how quickly did things move?
So after that, after I started getting help from professionals and seeking legal aid and things like that, I started making a plan.
Okay, so what was the plan?
The plan was to move back to Melbourne.
Okay, so you're interstate at this point.
Yeah.
Shit, man.
With 2 kids.
Did you have any support network when you were interstate?
No, we didn't know anyone.
That's what I'm saying. You had no friends. I mean, I'm assuming you weren't working.
No.
You were at home.
Correct. Isolated. This isolation is what enables them to gain even more control over you.
Can I ask what the catalyst was to move?
Oh, their profession.
Okay, so it was a work-related move.
Yeah.
Did you object to it?
I did, but
What
it didn't matter. I didn't matter.
So this decision was just made for you and that was it?
Yeah.
How quickly, after having it announced to you, how quickly was the move?
A couple of months.
So you had like 3 months, let's just say, to set up shop somewhere else?
Yep.
Who set up the new shop?
He did.
You didn't get a say as in
No.
where, who, what, nothing?
No.
All right, so you've been uprooted. How long were you interstate?
I was there for 2 years.
2 years.
Mm-hmm.
And you had the epiphany
Last April.
last April.
Mm-hmm.
So you made a plan to come back to Melbourne.
Mm-hmm.
How did it all go down then?
So I knew that we were going to come down for the Christmas holidays.
Yeah.
And so I had requested for longer time in Melbourne without him. So I was saying to him, since you need to go back up earlier for work, how about me and the kids stay at my parents' house for a bit longer? I want to be there for my sister's birthday. I haven't spent the last 3 birthdays with her. You know, like just making it look like it was believable.
You had your cover story.
Yeah. And then...
by this point, how much time did you spend apart?
Oh, no, we were still together.
No, as in like when you'd moved into state,
Yeah.
you knew no one.
Yeah.
And it's not like you had a job to be social at. So how often did you actually do anything extracurricular outside of your house? Like as in with other people?
Oh,
Even on your own?
even on my own. So I used to go to the gym.
Okay, so that's your time?
Yeah.
An hour a day?
That was 5 times a week.
5 hours?
Yeah. And then I started doing casual relief work. So that was 3 times a week. After my daughter turned 1.
Okay.
That's when I went back and did that. Otherwise, it was just me taking the kids out to do fun stuff together.
Yeah.
Yep.
All
And then him choosing to engage or not, depending on how exhausted he was from work. Because anytime I did anything by myself, that didn't involve the gym because that was under his instructions, right? If it was something social for me with a friend, he was resentful that he was spending time with them, that I made him, how dare I make him spend time at home with the children by himself.
I've said this before. One thing I really, really, really detest, I fucking hate it, and I've pulled people up on it.
Yeah.
Like bluntly, like punch to the face sort of shit. I'm like, don't tell me you're babysitting your children.
Yeah.
They're your fucking children.
That's right.
Don't tell me, like, what are you doing Friday night? You want to go for a beer? Oh, I'm babysitting. Oh, who are you babysitting? Oh, yeah, the kids. I'm like, they're your fucking kids.
Yeah.
You babysit a stranger's kids. You babysit your nieces and nephews.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes, exactly. Why did you have them in the first place? Why did you want them in the first place if you weren't going to spend time with them?
You have no idea, like, how much that fucking irks me, man, because I've got so many people in my life that have struggled to have kids.
Yeah.
Or are still struggling to have kids.
Yeah.
You know?
They would give anything.
Anything to fucking have a child to, like, look after and raise.
Yeah.
And you're telling me you're babysitting him.
Yeah.
Like, go fuck yourself, man.
I know. It used to shit me so much. Yeah. As well. Like, I completely understand with you there.
Anyway, I'm sorry.
That's okay. No, that's how I was feeling. I was feeling exactly the same way that you just expressed.
Yeah.
They're yours. Why are you making me feel so bad?
All right. So you've made your plan. You got your cover story.
Yep. So that doesn't come to fruition.
I was going to say.
Yeah. But he was agreeable that I was able to stay in Melbourne longer. That was the initial, like, he was okay with that, right? But while we were in Melbourne, we were staying with his parents, which was the norm that had been set up every time we came to Melbourne from interstate. We would stay there because our house was being rented out. And he didn't want to spend money on a hotel or anything, so that's where we were. And I had to share the car with his mother and himself and, me. And so that was our mode of transportation. So if I wanted to go anywhere, I would have to book the car in advance with the mother-in-law and with him.
Renting a car was out of the question.
Yeah, because I asked and he said, no, it's too expensive. So I rang up an organisation and I told them what my situation was, and they said, you're a hostage in your in-laws' house.
Is this while you were in Melbourne?
Yeah. They're like, do you see that you are a hostage? And the reason why I rang up was because he was saying that COVID is ramping up, the risk is too great, we need to leave next week. And it doesn't matter about staying in in Melbourne any longer. Like we should buy tickets and go back up. And I was like, no. I was thinking, oh my God, he's going to force me back on the plane.
So you were by yourself at this point. He'd already gone back.
No. We were still together. It was earlier. Like it was. He
hasn't flown back yet.
No, he hasn't flown back yet. But he was planning to leave mid-January. All of us, instead of me staying.
I was going to say, how long was the initial stay?
So we got there mid-December, and I was hoping to stay until the end of January.
I was going to say, I'm guessing the 2 weeks that everyone sort of takes off during Christmas, and then you were going to go back, like start of school sort of shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so I had already moved our stuff over with the organisation.
So what?
Yeah. So in the apartment that we were staying in, I took all the kids' clothes, toys, books, and some, Bessemer stuff, good old cooking things that were mine, that, you know, like I brought into the marriage, right? That was my shit, and that shit's expensive. I'm not letting that go.
I used to walk past in Wavos. I used to walk past the Bessemer display like they used to have in the middle.
Yeah.
And here's like a guy covered in tats, like mohawk, just like
is he selling
rubbernecking at the stand? Like, hey, that's cheap. Like, just look at him like, what? Like, nothing, man. Sorry.
Yeah, no, it's good stuff, right? So I'm not letting that go. He's not inheriting that. It comes with me. So, like, I got this organisation to secretly move my shit. I had 6 boxes packed without him knowing on a day off of mine that I had to argue with him for 3 weeks about, by the way.
What do you mean?
Oh, because, like, I was working 3 times a week with casual relief.
Yep.
Yeah. And then the 4th day of the week, I was at home with the kids. And then I was like, no, I need that 4th, you know, like the kids need to go in for care 4 times a week so I can have a day to myself, you know? And he was like, no, why do we need to spend that much money? You know, like, why should we spend your wage isn't going to cover the, and I'm just like, but you're making more money than me. So, like, why does it matter? Like, you're going to cover it anyway. It didn't compute in my brain. It was just another form of control, because it's like, what is she going to do on that day off? I'm not going to be able to, you know, keep tabs on her. Who's she going to see? What's she going to say? All that kind of stuff, right?
Question, and I want to ask this before, but we got sort of sidetracked. Yeah. Did you ever, like, was the idea of you leaving him in any way ever in his head?
No.
Because it sounds like
yeah.
The thing with narcissistic sociopaths is that they're arrogant, right, by nature, but they're fucking cowards and they're insecure as anything. Yeah. It's the biggest irony and it's the biggest hypocrisy, right? It's just completely like, you know, there's another word that I want to look. Oxymoron. Yeah. Yeah? Yeah. All these are just classic sort of standard behaviours, but that's what I'm saying. Like, the element of control, surely in the back of his mind, he's thinking that you could up and leave at any point. Or, you might meet someone. He never
voiced it, right? Okay. And then even when I had packed up the clothes and sent them in a shipping container to Melbourne, he was asking me, where did the clothes go? And then I said, well, I donated a heap, because I'd given him like 2 big garbage bags of clothes to give to his friend who was about to have a baby. Yeah. So like that's how I like sold a lot of that. And I said, you know, I've donated a lot, and a lot of it is in Ziploc bags so it doesn't go moldy while we're away. Right? So I'm so lucky that he was so distracted and so busy with his work at that point in time that he didn't push too much and question me further. Otherwise,
they all seem pretty reasonable explanations.
Yeah. But like if he pushed more, maybe he would have been able to figure it out. And if he actually investigated to see where those Ziploc bags were, where those vacuum bags were, like if he saw that they weren't actually in the cupboard, you know, then I would have been in trouble. He would have figured it out. Yeah. Yeah. So I managed to move that stuff. Obviously I didn't take furniture. I couldn't do that. That would be way too obvious. So I just took what I could and moved it down to Melbourne.
Section of the couch is missing. Like, what happened to the couch?
Where's the dining table?
Mold.
Yeah, exactly. So then, so I had that stuff and that was at my parents' house just waiting. And
wait, were they aware of all this?
Yeah.
Okay, so
because since April last year, started talking to friends about this and
okay, that's something we should probably sort of explore a bit. How did your parents take everything?
Oh, they were horrified at the thought.
But they've full well been engaging in the same shit for like 5 decades?
Exactly. So if they condone my behaviour, then Mum should also leave. You know, like Mum should leave the DV relationship that she's in.
Have you brought that up? As in, have you pointed back at him and said, yeah, this is where it came from?
Yeah.
What do they say?
Well, not to my dad. Can't have that kind of confrontational conversation with him. But to Mum, yeah. And Mum admitted that she wished that she'd left so many times. But she just didn't have the strength or courage to do it.
I've heard that a lot.
Yeah.
You know what triggers me? And this is this is something that, like, maybe it's just the depth of my, like, insanity. I always get triggered when I see, like, on Instagram and stuff, when you see the dad in dad mode shit on, like, you know, moving day or family holiday or something. And it's like, and they've got, like, the Trader Joe's theme song playing in the background, so it seems really wholesome and light. And it's usually a picture of, like, this white guy in shorts holding onto, like, all his family's passports, right? Boarding shit. It's like dictating what time they get up, who doesn't have breakfast, shitty, toxic, like, traits all day, like, oh, pissed off because someone's late. Just checking and rechecking, like, documents. And I was looking at it like, that is fucking control, you dumb fuck.
Yeah.
That is an arrogant man thinking he still runs his 25-year-old kids' lives. Like, it pisses me off. Yeah. It shits me every time. It's like, oh, it's just dad and dad mode. It's like, no, fuck off, man.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, moving today, dad helping me move, dad in dad mode, here at the crack of dawn, telling me how to pack boxes, do this. I'm like, tell the cunt to fuck off.
Yeah. You do it yourself. You know how to do it.
Ask him for advice, but don't sit here and take the back seat like you're 13 years old and you've got a grown man telling you not to take a piss because you're running late and you're going to miss a plane that's taking off in 4 hours. That's not cute. That's toxic, you dickhead.
Yeah.
It's shit. I don't know why. Like, I get riled up over the smallest things now. Shit like that. Anyway, okay, so you've opened up to your family. They're aware. Yep. They're aware of your plan.
Yep.
What about your friends in Melbourne?
Completely 100% supportive.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, so we're talking about April to December.
Yep.
Shit's come to Melbourne.
Yep.
You guys come to Melbourne.
Yep.
You've reached out to organisations while you're here.
Yep.
He's making the plan for all of you to go back because of COVID.
Yep.
COVID.
Yep.
Then what?
I ring up an organisation and I tell them my situation and I'm in hysterics because I'm thinking he's going to force me back on the plane.
Yeah.
And obviously that's not what I want to do, so I need support. And they're like, we have to extract you now. And I'm like, what? I'm
Black Hawk down.
Yeah. I'm like, but I don't have an emergency bag packed. You know, like I don't have any clothes. I don't have toothbrushes. I don't have their water bottles. I don't have, you know, nappies. Like enough nappies to get me through however long I'm going for. And they're like, no, you're in an unsafe situation. Your freedom has been taken. You are in a hostage situation. We must extract you now. And I was like, that was like big shock. Like I didn't realize that it was a hostage situation. I knew it was bad because like, you know, I wasn't really, every time I was on the phone while I was at my in-laws' house, he was getting angry with me for being on the phone and he would stand in the room and wait for me to hang up or listen in on the conversation that I was having. And he would try to get into my phone as well, but I changed the passcode in April. Like once someone said to me they might put bugs and stuff on your phone to track you and stuff, whatever. Yeah. So I was like, oh crap, he always uses my phone. He always picks up my phone and goes through my messages and my email and stuff. And because I started engaging with them and they were like the organizations were sending me emails, they're like, change your passcode so he can't get in.
Did they never question that?
Oh, he used to be like, what is it? And I'm like, you can't use my phone. Go, I'll bring you yours. I used to, and then like that's what I changed doing in April. Like once I started engaging with them and they told me to be electronically safe or digitally safe.
That's a big, wouldn't that have been a big flag?
I thought, you know, like I've got nothing to hide. I'm not having any affairs. I don't have control of our money, so I can't like do any gambling or anything like that. Like there's nothing, you know, I didn't think for me that
your gambling didn't happen in electronic form. You had cash at the cockfights. You know what I mean? 50 on blue over there.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like I didn't think that, I thought all couples just looked at each other's phone.
No, I haven't got a problem with looking at the phone thing, right? As in like I get it. You putting a passcode on your phone for the first time that he can't get through to, wouldn't have been a flag for him.
Oh no, I already had a passcode, but he knew it, so I had to change it to something that he didn't know.
Yeah, but didn't he use your phone or go through it after that?
No, because I started saying boundaries. I started putting boundaries up about it and saying, no, you can't use my phone for that. I'll go get you your phone and you can use your phone for videoing or taking photos of the kids.
Okay.
Yeah. or whatever it was. Because even though he would take a photo and a video, then he'd just like
go through the...
like use it as an excuse sort of to go in and do that. And so then I stopped that and got up and got him his.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So I don't know, like I guess he didn't think about it because that started happening in April and it was December. So it was already happening for a couple of months and maybe he'd had accepted that as the new normal.
Okay. I've got to ask, this is something that we didn't actually clarify.
Yeah.
What was your plan once you stayed, like before December? What did you actually plan to happen once you got to Melbourne?
I was never going to go on the plane.
And go back. What were you going to do?
I was going to stay in my parents' house and I was going to call him up on the day that he would have expected our plane to land, and I would have said it's over. Like I would have just done it like that.
Okay, so that's what you were going to move.
Because I was petrified. Sorry, I didn't explain to you. Like by the time April had come along, he'd started getting more aggressive, like with the furniture pushing and the bench slapping and things like that. And I'm tiny and he is massive. And he also has a black belt in Wing Chun, whatever, I don't know. Some martial arts, right? So he has the skills and the know-how on how to,
He's physically imposing.
Yeah, exactly. And so I started getting really, really petrified. And because he's so narcissistic and so egotistic and so controlling, I didn't know whether my life was safe anymore. And I thought that if he wanted to or got wind of this, because his reputation was so important to him, and if I tarnished it in any way, so me leaving would be tarnishing to his reputation, I thought he was going to kill me. And I couldn't sleep. I was having nightmares and I couldn't sleep the whole time that I was up there sharing a bed with him. I thought, one day he might just go get a knife and just stab me. Like I was so petrified. And so I had to keep everything really, really hush-hush, and that's why I needed to do it safely. So in my brain, it was like, if he's already there and I'm in Melbourne and I let him know over the phone and he has to start back at work, he doesn't have a chance to come back, not for a while. So that's how I thought it would play out, like I would be safe that way.
Yeah.
Yeah. But because they were like, no, you've got to leave early before he forces you back on a plane early because you're in a hostage situation, we have to extract you now. They did it for me, I guess. I got the support from this organisation and they, helped me, I guess he would know because he would have been expecting me to come back from visiting my parents. And obviously I didn't turn up and I had to dump my mother-in-law's car at the police station.
Okay, so what actually happened?
Oh.
Extraction day.
Extraction day?
Yeah.
Right, so I'm at my mother's house. I have the kids there. Then my wants to come meet up. And she is a social worker. So she was in on these conversations and plans and was like, oh, thank God you've woken up kind of thing. When I finally told her in April, she was like, there you go. You've got this established. Now let me tell you what you need to do. Let me help you.
You call your friend.
And she's like, okay, well, let's find a place to rent. Like she was just trying to help me find a place to rent so I wouldn't have to stay at mum and dad's for too long.
Yeah.
But then she was like, no, let's get some advice from, can I say the organisation's name?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Safe Steps. She's like, let's call up Safe Steps and let see what they think about this. Because she's like, I'm worried that he might make you go back, So let's see what they say. And they were like, we're worried that he's going to take you back on the plane earlier. Like in 4 days' time, you're going to be on a plane back to interstate. So because the intake form and telling the story took a little while, it was 6 o'clock at night when we finished the conversation, and she was like, so would you have been expected to come home by now? And I'm like, yeah, definitely, because we've got to feed the kids and whatever. Yeah. And then she's like, okay, well, you're already in a dangerous situation because he would have expected you back. right? She's like, I think with the risk management and the way that he's being aggressive, you guys have been fighting a lot while at your mother-in-law's, the hostage situation has happened, we need to get you out. So she's like, go to the police station. We will send a taxi for you and the children, and just leave the keys to that car, and tell the policeman an hour after we've left to call them up and come and get their car. And so that's what I did.
What was the explanation they were giving to come and get their car?
Nothing. They were just calling up and saying, I have a car left. You need to come. That's registered to you. I understand that this is, you're the owner of the car, and I've been told that this is your number. Come and get it. Yeah. And then that's it.
So where'd you guys go?
They took us to a hotel in the city.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what happened?
So it's just me and the kids with the clothes on our back in a hotel in the city. And they're not understanding what's going on. Their behaviour's out the window. I'm full of emotions. And, they say that they'll give us food, but they bring the food, like menu log gets us the food at like 9:30. And that's way past the kids' bedtime. Like at that point, they're so overtired and they're jumping around, and, I'm worried about them opening up the door and getting out onto the balcony and all that kind of thing. There's no Netflix. It's just free to air TV. So they're like, why isn't this show happening? They're
the kids.
They're kids, and there's nothing on good at 9:30 for kids. So it's like,
I mean, Sky News has got a thing at 9:30.
So it's like,
don't you want the latest update of Afghanistan and Trump's latest thing?
So it's just like, what do I do to keep them entertained in this tiny hotel room? It was just really, really stressful, really awful. And I'm like, so where is a person, like a human, to actually talk to? And they're like, oh no, we do everything over the phone now because of COVID. Yeah. And that hadn't been explained to me, that there weren't going to be people there to support, like actual human beings. You had to just call and sit on the wait line for a really long time before they picked up. Food came at 9:30, pajamas and toothbrushes and things came at like 10:30. The kids fell asleep at 11. Yeah. It was pretty horrific. And then when I found out that the person that was supposed to come over and help me with the way that I was supposed to put an AVO on wasn't explained to me clearly as well. Or maybe it was, and I was just so triggered I didn't understand. But they're like, we're going to do this all over the phone, and you're going to do it online on your phone. And I was like, I can't sit here and try and do this while my children are running around. This is not the ideal situation. So I just asked them to send me a taxi and take me to my parents' house, where I would have been able, at least have a bit more support.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your phone wouldn't have been blown up by now?
I blocked him.
Was that as soon as you got picked up, or how?
Yeah, so they told me when I got off the phone to them to block him, so then he can't get through.
Okay.
And then I told, obviously Mum knew what was happening, so I said to her, can you you and Dad need to block him so he can't call you guys.
Did he actually get a hold of you via your in-laws or someone else?
Well, my in-laws didn't know because... Oh, they didn't try. My in-laws didn't call my phone, but I blocked them anyway.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah. No, I was thinking about that. So I blocked all his family members.
Once I had to go to the cop shop to get a car, surely something would have happened.
Yeah.
Okay, so
they didn't try and contact... Well, yeah, it didn't show that they were trying to contact me because it didn't come up in the call log.
Basically, social media, all that?
Nah.
Blocked everything?
Yep.
Okay. So then what? You've gone to your parents?
Yep. And then I didn't realise I forgot to block him off WhatsApp.
No.
Right?
That old chestnut.
Yeah. So then I get these long text messages from him saying that he loves me and he can't believe that this has happened, and like he swears he'll change and he doesn't even know like what happened. You know, like he was just really like in shock and didn't understand what was going on and why did this happen. And he knew that we were in a bad place, but he just didn't know how bad it was.
Hasn't been right from day dot, bro.
Yeah.
See, I've fucked up in like my life, but I'm well aware of how I fucked up.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Fully aware of how I fucked up.
Yeah.
That's always what gets me when someone's like, oh, what do you mean? Things were fine. Or yeah, maybe we have some arguments. Like, arguments? What do you, I haven't left the house in 12 years, bro. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's astounding. Okay. So you never actually had a standoff with him. You just got whisked away.
Yep.
Blocked him, and then he sort of put the pieces together.
Yep.
Okay. So you're in Melbourne.
Yep.
You're at your parents'.
Yep.
Did you respond to any of his messages, or?
Well, I unblocked him and I called him, and that was with the intention of, you know, telling him that it's over and that I intend to stay in Melbourne, and I want him to go back interstate, and you know, that we need to figure out parenting plan and like start the process. But he was really upset because he was like, well, I haven't had a chance to rectify any of this, and I don't even know like why you're so upset and why you left. And so I had to explain to him, like, your controlling behavior was what, you know. And it's funny because 6 days before I left, I had this argument with him, like massive screaming the roof off at my in-laws' house. And I said to him, stop fucking controlling me. And he's just like, what do you mean? I'm like, you won't let me have a car. You don't want to go rent a car because it costs too much money. You're making me live in this fucking house with your fucking parents who I fucking hate. And you know that. And yet you're still forcing me to do that, even though it's impacting on my mental health and my happiness, you know? Yet you still do it because the cost of an Airbnb or a hotel is just too much for you to bear. So money is more important than you. You keep putting money in front of me, you know? Like, that's what I was screaming at him about. And how, like, unhappy I am and how unhappy I've been, and that he's always controlling me, every single thing that we do, and that he won't let me be on the phone, you know? Like, if you're not letting me go see my friends because I have to book the car 5 days in advance because your mother might be using it or you want to use it, how the fuck am I supposed to communicate with my friends? I'm in Melbourne. Like, I haven't been down for 6 months. I want to see my friends, you know? And you're stopping me from doing that.
Yeah.
It was just like, you know, it had come to a snapping point for me. I was like, this is just so wrong. Like, how did he not see a week before that that's what I was so miserable about? And then when he's like, I can't believe that you would just run away just from that, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, no, it's been 12 and a half years of abuse, man, that has just been growing and growing and growing and just escalated once I had our first baby, and then just got worse and worse and worse. I'm like, you've destroyed my soul. I can't be near you anymore. Yeah.
Okay.
And so then after that, I agreed to meet him in a park, in like a
big
public
open space,
area.
yeah.
And which I knew would be busy. And then like, I just went through everything with him. I talked about the marital rape. I talked about the reproductive coercion. I talked about the controlling, the constant controlling, about my image, the sexual rejection, the, you know, like how he wanted me to look, how we would go out. Someone would ask me a question and he would answer for me. You know, like all that social humiliation, all those put downs, all, you know, everything. I just said, you did this and this and this and this and this. And then it was like a massive shock to him. Like, he was like, I didn't mean to do all those things. Like, he was saying that he didn't mean to do any of those things. And I'm like, But when you're putting me down, how does that not compute in your brain? Like, you're consciously forming these words together into a sentence and you are putting me down. How do you think it's going to make me feel? You know? I just was flabbergasted at the extent of his ignorance or his claimed ignorance, you know? And so after that, he was just saying that he was going to go do therapy, and I said, yep, you definitely need to go do that. You need to, you know, you have a lot of issues that you need to work through. And then we sort of just made a plan about how he was going to see the children from then on, and yeah, that's it. And so after therapy, like he had a few couple sessions of therapy, and he told me that even though he didn't mean to do what he did, it doesn't mean that he shouldn't apologize for the damage that was done. And so he felt like that was a massive revelation on his behalf, that he needed to apologize to me for what he's done, despite not being conscious of it and not doing it on purpose.
Do you feel that was sincere?
Yeah, I do. But I still, like, I don't know, I'm really self-aware. Like, I just don't understand. If I'm going to be a bitch to someone, like, I purposely calculated in my brain, and I, you know.
No, it's an active thing you're saying.
Yeah, exactly, right? But I don't do that very often because I'm not like that. But,
sure.
you know.
Yeah. I'll ask your peers and your colleagues, he's a maniac.
You know, like.
Comes in on Monday morning just throwing weight around, smashing mugs.
I just didn't understand how he thought like that. And I don't know if that's just how they are, or if that's his excuse, or...
Self-awareness is not the trait of a sociopath.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just not.
Right.
Like you said, this is normalised from day dot, like it was normalised for you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
He's a product of his environment. And I'm a big believer in that you can be a product of your environment.
Yeah.
But it's on you.
To make the change.
Yeah. Like I've always said, you know, number one priority for every individual on the planet should be constant growth. Constant improvement, working on yourself. You know, that needs to be
paramount.
The priority.
Yeah.
You're never perfect, ever. And we're never going to be perfect, but there's always better ways we can handle a situation.
Yeah, I agree.
You know?
Yeah.
Okay, so you were in Melbourne the entire time, staying with your parents.
Yeah.
He's gone back, obviously.
Yeah.
And then, like, how quickly did you move after that? Like, what were you doing? Like, just setting up shop, basically, again?
Yep.
How, like, and then all the organisations, like, they were all on board? Like, they all sort of helped you?
Some of that was a bit of a struggle. So I realised that in order to get attention and to get resources thrown your way, because everything is so underfunded and so understaffed, you have to like really advocate for yourself, really, really show that you're in a high risk situation and that they need to help you. Because I had to call a couple of times. There's really limited organisations up where I was living. So in order to get their attention, I really needed to let them feel my despair and really listen to the high-risk situation that I was in, or that I believed that I was in, with the whole rape. Like, you know, he was saying, I'm going to have time off work. The kids are going to be in daycare. We're going to have a lot more time together. We can use this time to reconnect and be together. And at that point, that was in September, and I'd already made my decision to leave, right? So I was like, there's no way I want to be intimate with you, and I don't want to be raped again. So I had to go to this organisation's place, secret location, that I had found out because I'd had a previous meeting with them, and I had to just cry and like tell them, I'm at risk of rape. I need your help. Help me figure out a safety plan. Help me figure out what to do. And then that's when I got a case manager assigned to me, and they were helping me figure things out.
How about like your finances and stuff while you were here?
Here in Melbourne right now, or over there?
When it happened, like once you made the decision to not get back on that plane.
Yeah.
Like, how did you sustain, like your kids would have had to like transition straight into like a new school, or like what What were your first steps?
So because I had used Safe Steps and I'd already gotten the organisation from Interstate to hook me in with the other organisation that's around, which is called Orange Door, I had been on the phone with them to help get me figure out like where to go and what to do and things like that. I had already saved some money because I was doing casual work. And when I had that massive conversation with him at the park, he transferred a sum of money.
Like a lump sum.
Yeah, from our our savings account. And he allowed that to go into my account to look after the kids and me.
Was the questioning and everything all just stopped after that point?
Yeah.
How'd you feel? How did you feel even just moving to that hotel in the city?
Scared.
That's it?
But I knew, I was so scared. I was so scared about the fear of the unknown future was really, really scary, but it wasn't as scary as going back to that interstate place.
Did you at all feel liberated?
Yeah, I did. It was a mixture of scary and it was a mixture of like a bit of excitement, I guess. And like, finally I'm doing this. I've been thinking about this for so long. Now there's action, you know, but yeah, it was just like, which fear is worse? The fear of going back or the fear of the unknown future? And it was like the fear of going back was way, way worse. Being trapped there and not having the courage to leave again was paralyzing, way more paralyzing than I'm free. And even though I don't know what's going to happen, at least it's going to be on my terms.
Yeah.
You know, and I get to decide.
After 12 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fucking huge.
Yeah.
So, like, if that's all happened, right? How'd you explain it to your kids?
Oh, they're young.
Didn't need to be explained?
Nah.
Okay.
The only thing I said was, my little boy asked me, why is Dad up there and we're here? And I said, because he's working. And he's like, but couldn't we have stayed up there with him since he's working like we did the year before? And then I said, well, Daddy didn't treat Mummy very nicely and Mummy deserves better than that. And so that's why we're here and he's up there. And then he started crying and he said, has he learnt his lesson? And I said, I hope so. And that was it.
That's it?
Yep, that was it. And I didn't want to give him, because he's only 4, like I need to give him age-appropriate details.
Yeah, 100%.
And I don't want to demonise the parent.
Yeah,
you know,
no,
like
you're being better than most people, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, but that's all I've said. And it's only happened once.
Imagine you pouring a scotch and lighting a smoke. Well, son, let me tell you. All right.
Yeah.
How about like his relationship with his kids now?
He is fine and he doesn't resent spending time with them because he realises how precious it was, you know, and he doesn't make me feel resentful for not being there. Yeah.
Have you gone back? Like, how did you get the rest of your stuff up there? Or did you just leave it all and start again? Or
Oh, no, he sent them down for me.
Okay.
He sent some things down, not everything because he needed it. But, yeah, I got sent whatever I couldn't, you know. And then also there was some of our stuff was being stored in my mother-in-law's house. So I had to organise movers to go to that place and get it.